My parents immigrated from Egypt to America because they wanted a better life.
I was born and raised in America by two very entrepreneurial immigrant parents.
Adele was their father. He was a very driven man, very hard worker. He was very business savvy. He could take nothing and turn it into something.
Growing up, not very typical of a background. All of us were very involved in sales since an early age. My father didn't have too much luck as a taxi driver, so he did go on and pursue his entrepreneurial dreams. He started off by owning a little business, which he would take in street festivals all around New York City. So we'd go around with him, we'd sell Egyptian arts and crafts, which he was able to import from Egypt at a very low cost. After a little while, we moved into a more stable spot on 59th Street and Columbus Circle in Manhattan. Business was actually booming. When my father first found out that he had cancer, breaking the news to us was the hardest, I would say. It was terminal. At that point, life changed. The business was slowly dying because he was getting sick.
My mom was pregnant, and she had to go to the store. She was taking along 3 kids with her. It was me, Manzar, and Karim. And at that time we were still young.
Bills were collecting, debt was accruing, and there was nothing we can do about it at that point.
After the store closed down, he had to sell the house to pay all the debts that he had.
I remember getting that call from Moaz, and he told me, my father passed, funeral's tomorrow. So there was so much pressure on these 3 boys, Moaz, Manzir, and Karim. They had to grow up as fast as they can. It was work, work, work.
As soon as he got sick, me and my brothers took up jobs as candy salespeople. We obtained a $1.25 commission on every single box we sold.
After pass away, my husband has very hard life for me, for 5 kids. I have to everybody work because I pay rent, I pay electricity, I pay the internet, everything I paid.
School was number 1. It was always a priority. I knew I had to work because I had to help support my family. Unlike school, where school was the future, I also had to focus on now. But at the same time, I couldn't forget about the future. So I continued to work, I continued to go to school, and I continued to study. I'd get home from school, I'd go straight to work, I'd get back home, and unlike my other friends who'd probably go home and take a nap, I was up till 2, 3 in the morning studying.
My father had a reasonable amount of life insurance. It would have been much better for my whole family.
When your father passes away and you have 5 kids in the household under the age of 16, you can barely work. How do you leave them to a single mother and expect them to survive? Fortunately we've been able to do it, but I can't say that this is going to happen for everyone, because it's not. Currently we live in Astoria, New York. We do live in a 2-bedroom household. There is 6 of us, so it is very tight, it is crammed, but we do make the best of it. I'd rather a 2-bedroom apartment than a 1-bedroom with 6 people.
The biggest thing I learned is to never give up. That's the biggest thing I learned, because if you don't give up, you'll succeed.
Life insurance is definitely a priority in my life, especially when I do intend to raise my own family. I don't ever wish what my family went through on anyone else, let alone my own kids, my own wife, my own household. Life insurance is something that you definitely have to have.